you do wonder how these tariffs are going to impact the cost of everyday goods, because the president not only ran on securing the border, of course, and bringing back American manufacturing, but lowering cost of groceries. And now you're seeing these high tariffs come in place. Are you concerned that Americans are going to have to cover the costs?
What we're going to see right now is the fact that grocery prices have already started to come down significantly. Egg prices have been cut in more than half. We're already seeing gasoline prices that are coming down. Oil futures are already down to $60. We're going to see that with relief at the pump already. Those are two huge fundamentals. We need to make sure that we're bringing inflation down. And when all of those prices come down, that's going to be the net positive impact the president's talking about. When this economy ticks up, then we're going to see that affect the outcome of the elections.
I want to ask you about, you talk about elections. Obviously, Republicans picked up a couple of seats in Florida there, left by Congressman Gates and Congressman, or NSA now, Michael Waltz. But I do want to ask you what happened in a local election, in a state election in Wisconsin, the state Supreme Court. The right-leaning judge in this race lost that seat to a Democrat. I'm curious to know your thoughts there. Why did Republicans lose that? Did they sit back? Should they have gotten more involved? Should they have gotten the president maybe involved in campaigning for that specific candidate there in Wisconsin? What are your thoughts looking back on that and that loss for Republicans?
Sure. Well, first off, it's a nonpartisan race, and it's not just an off-cycle, off-year, but it's an off-month race. So the electorate is completely different. That was a hold that the Wisconsin Democrats had on that seat as well as on the court. Obviously, we would have liked to flip it, but we saw tens of millions of dollars that were coming in from George Soros and liberals all across the country to that particular race. So we don't see that there's really a sea change at all involved in Wisconsin. In fact, it was President Trump's most narrow win of the election cycle last year. So I'm not surprised that other candidates running as nonpartisan race were not able to carry as strong as he did in 2024. In terms of its impact on the overall election cycle, I think what we saw in Florida is far more important because those are Democratic seats that are going to help foster the majority. We built it up from 3-seat to 5-seat majority in the House. That's tremendously important for us. And we are in a very strong position to be able to move forward in the midterms as long as Congress gets its work done and we get these Trump tax cuts extended and we get the rest of the president's agenda implemented through Congress, because we know he's going to deliver every single day on behalf of the American people.
But you don't think
fighting for the American
You don't
people.
think Elon Musk hurt that election?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that what we saw up there was a very, very narrow race in an off-cycle election. There is absolutely no comparison to be made between that and a general election like we'll see in the midterms next year.
All right. Let's move on to present day, or at least what we saw just yesterday, where the president signed a number of executive orders, but this one really focusing in on reviving the struggling coal industry. Here's that moment.
And it's going to accelerate all permitting and funding for new coal projects to allow the coal industry to flourish under your leadership, sir.
That's great. Thank you. Okay.
The president had mentioned how AI data centers need a lot of electricity, and perhaps maybe you go back to coal as a way to do so. But what does this tell you about the direction the president envisions for the country's energy sources?
Well, look, this is the energy president. President Trump, since 2015, when he first announced that he was going to run for president, has said that he is going to unleash American energy, and we are going to have an era of energy dominance. We saw it during his first term. We are seeing it already play itself out right now. We need baseline. We need affordable, reliable electricity. Coal has long been an important part of that mix, as has nuclear, as is natural gas. The president is going to do what he can to bring down energy prices and make sure that all of our industries have the electricity that we need. This is a fundamental step towards it, and it really continues his mission to make sure that we have energy dominance here in America.
Information, truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.